Loch Lupnig, the Trossachs, gateway to the Highlands. High above the still waters lies an altogether more adventurous place. A place of jagged rock and fearsome elements. A place that has resisted my every attempt to conquer it. I was determined to persevere until I had seen all there is to see. But the mountain wouldn't give up so easily. The mountain is Stwch Gachron. The adventure began early on the shores of Loch Lupnig, still cloaked in the royal blue colours of night. A lone path wound its way from the roadside into the forest. I had begun my journey towards Glen Ample. The forest path, with its loose stones and fallen trees, masking the effort that lay ahead, draining the energy from my legs. Glen Ample was soon reached. An unassuming little glen, it connects Loch Lupnig to Loch Earn. The densely packed forests that lined its slopes, echoing with the sound of cuckoos. The forestry track drew me along the glen, until eventually I was confronted with the steep western face of Bain Ech. Jagged and rocky, it was a formidable mountain in its own right. Hidden beneath its hard exterior, secret little waterfalls trickled down its nose. A helpful sign pointed me in the right direction. A small dirt path that wound its way up the mountain, barely clinging to its slopes at times, as the edge of the path gave way to steep drops. The clouds that had seemed so out of reach earlier were now swirling around me. The once clear route ahead replaced with an indistinct glow. I was granted glimpses of what lay behind the grey curtain, giving me a shred of hope to cling to. I approached the summit, finding it occupied by a surprising visitor, a ptarmigan. A rare treat, indeed. We found the summit close by, but there was nothing to be seen. Grey gloom hung over the summit. All hope of clear skies and jaw-dropping vistas faded into grey. The mountain had clung to its secrets for another day. I made this steep journey back to the car, following the others that the mountain had discouraged that day. A week passed, and my frustrations grew. There was only one road to redemption. I had to return. With a better forecast in hand, I set off. Again up the forest path to Glen Ample, and up the steep slopes of Bain Eich once more. High up on the mountainside, I met my namesake for the first time. True Scottish mountain goats. I could never compete with such magnificent creatures. I was granted my first glimpse of the mighty Stwchachron, and the summit of Bain Eich was unobscured. The mountain called its allies in its defence. The wind and the cold. 2 jackets barely protected me from the vicious wind chill. Despite Bain Eich's best efforts, I soon reached the summit. The landscape opening up around me. A spectacle to behold. I glanced down at the route ahead. What seemed like a gentle ridge walk over to Stwchachron. I descended from Bain Eich via its steep northern face. Still high above the distant lands below. All under the watchful eye of Stwchachron. I thought I had gained the upper hand in my battle against the mountain, but it had merely changed tactic. Its allies, the wind and the cold, withdrawn. Instead, it began its war of attrition. Slowly wearing me down with relentless, undulating terrain. Every up followed by a down. A difficult place to find oneself should the mists descend. The confusing maze of crags and pathways providing a challenge to even the most experienced of navigators. Bain Eich was now fading into the background. My legs were like jelly. I rested a little, regathering my strength for the final challenge. At last, I had made it to the foot of Stwchachron. The final steep pull up to the summit. The last of winter's snow still hiding in the shadow of the mountain. I began the final ascent. The wind and the cold renewed the relentless onslaught. My now weary legs battling against the forces of gravity. My mind was too preoccupied to care. the magnificent views over to Damayet and the lands of Stirling proving to be a welcome distraction. I was almost there. Ben Vorlich could do nothing but witness my success. I had made it to the summit of Stwch Achron, a hard-earned victory. A rocky and weathered mountain. It quickly became apparent that the wind and the cold were not the mountain's allies. Instead, they were unmasked as its primeval opponents, gnawing away at the mountain's face over the eons to create this magnificent spectacle of a mountain. I also caught a glimpse of the infamous area known as the Brow. A steep, vertical scramble up the mountain's northern face. Not for the faint of heart. A mountainous landscape all around, a fitting reward for such an arduous journey. The crowd-pleasing Ben Vorlich, just across the Bialach, was starting to show signs of life. Many familiar mountains are visible from this vantage point. From Ben Lomond to the mighty Ben More in Stop Beanin. It wasn't long before I had to say goodbye to this perfect place. But the mountain had the last laugh. I still had to limp all the way back to the car. Remember to hit subscribe and the bell icon to join me on future adventures. And I really do hope to see you on the next one too.